I'm 29F, and I feel like the last month of my life has been one long lesson in what it means to be useful to people without actually being loved by them. I know that sounds dramatic. A month ago, I would have rolled my eyes at myself for writing it. Now I think it's the cleanest sentence I have. I'll try to explain this in the least chaotic way possible. Me, 29F. Boyfriend, Evo, 31M. My cousin, Selena, 36F. My job, fashion photographer. Her job, designer with a very fast-growing label. Selena is technically my cousin, but growing up, she was more like an older sister. Her mother helped raise me when my own home life was unstable. So for most of my life, I thought of that side of the family as my real anchor. That matters, because it's part of why I ignored so many things for so long. Selena has money, real money, the kind that turns talent into visibility, because there's a PR team, paid media, the right dinners, the right magazines, the right rooms. She is talented, to be fair, but she also started halfway up the mountain. I didn't. I built my career by shooting whatever I could get, assisting for people who barely remembered my name, doing overnight edits for clients who called me sweetheart, and learning how to make a rented studio look expensive. Eventually, that work paid off. I started shooting campaigns, magazine features, small covers, and through all of that, I kept shooting for Selena's brand, usually at a huge discount, sometimes for almost nothing, because it was family, because I thought loyalty meant something. My boyfriend Evo entered the story 2 years ago. On paper, he's the kind of man people would call steady. He remembers my coffee order. He carries groceries without being asked. He gives thoughtful gifts. When we're together in person, he can be warm and gentle in a way that makes you feel held. But outside those moments, he disappears. He hates texting. He says long emotional conversations should happen in real life, which sounds mature until you realize it means anything meaningful gets delayed, avoided, or reduced to. We'll talk later. He will ignore messages all day, then call at a time that only works for him. And if I say I'm busy, I become the difficult one. Once, when I asked him to keep me company over text during a long late-night commute, he told me to stop nagging. He apologized later, but the words stayed. 6 months ago, Evo moved into my place. Not permanently, supposedly. His rent had jumped, his freelance work had gone weird for a while, and my house, an old one-bedroom place I own, was good enough for now. It really wasn't built for 2 adults, but I said yes. At first, he promised we'd split things fairly. Then it became, I'm catching up this month. Then, can you cover groceries and I'll get utilities? Then, I'll sort it once my next payment clears. He did contribute sometimes, just never in a way that made me stop feeling like I was carrying more than I could afford. And because I was already busy, already tired, already trying not to be too much, I kept letting it slide. 3 weeks ago, Selena called me about a major regional fashion event. 3 designers, press flying in, editors, industry people. A real opportunity. She said I'd be part of the core team. Branding photography, editorial promo images, backstage coverage, the whole thing. Then she gave me the line I have heard from her in some form for years. The budget is tight, but this would be amazing for the community. Community, exposure, family. Those words have emptied my bank account more times than I want to admit. And of course I said yes. I lowered my rate to something embarrassing. Then I over-delivered, because that's apparently my disease. The pressure built quickly. I was editing campaign images late into the night, managing my regular clients, covering most of the bills at home, and trying not to resent the fact that Evo could look at me working until 1 a.m. and still ask, "So are you coming to bed?" Like I was choosing this for fun. At the same time, Selena started saying things that made my stomach twist. "You should really stay here long term," she told me. "There's nobody in this town who can do for my brand what you do." At first, it sounded flattering. Then I realized what she was really saying. Stay where my business can use you. Don't go where your career might outgrow me. About 10 days before the event, something else started. I got a message from Evo's number while he was supposedly at work. It said, "You know they only ask you because you're cheap, right?" I stared at it for a full minute. Then I wrote back, "Funny." No response. When he came home that night, he acted normal, made tea, kissed my forehead, asked how my edit deadline was going. I brought up the message. He frowned at me and said, "What message?" I showed him. He looked genuinely confused and said he hadn't sent it. I thought maybe he was joking. He wasn't. He kept saying he didn't send it. He even looked unsettled, which honestly made me angrier. Because if you're going to gaslight me, at least have the dignity to look guilty. Then more messages came, always from his number, always while he was away. Maybe if you weren't so desperate for approval, your cousin would actually respect you. No one is forcing you to work for crumbs. You make being the victim look like a full-time job. They were cruel in a very specific way, not random insults. They went straight for the places in me that were already bruised. When I confronted him again, he swore he wasn't sending them. He said he'd lost an old phone months earlier from a camera bag at a venue and never thought much of it because he replaced it immediately. He said maybe something was still connected. He said it like he knew how insane it sounded. And I remember thinking, either this man is a pathological liar or something is deeply wrong. Then came the show weekend. I worked like a machine. Campaign images, press kits, backstage, branding, crowd shots, last-minute requests from people who hadn't answered my emails for 2 weeks but suddenly had emergencies. No one arranged food for me. No one checked whether I'd sat down. No one said thank you. And then, halfway through the day, I found out there had been an industry dinner the night before for the visiting editors and magazine people. And another private dinner was planned after the event. Selena was there. The PR team was there. The other designers were there. Their teams were there. I wasn't invited. I cannot explain how humiliating that felt. Not because I think I'm entitled to every room. Because I had worked on the project for almost nothing. Because I had delivered beyond the agreement. Because I had helped build the visuals they were all there to celebrate. And because some of the people at those dinners were people I had worked with independently before. I was good enough to create the image, not important enough to be seen beside it. That realization changed something in me. And then, like the universe has a sixth sense of timing, another message came from Evo's number. Try not to cry when they leave you behind. It's bad for your makeup. I had to go into a bathroom stall and physically put my hand over my mouth so I wouldn't make noise. When the event ended, I drove home shaking. Evo was there, calm, making tea. He looked at me and immediately said, "You look awful. What happened?" And something in me snapped. I asked him one question. "Why are you doing this?" He looked lost. Actually lost. Not offended, not defensive, just stunned. I threw my phone at the couch beside him and made him read the messages. He kept saying, "I didn't send these." Then I said the thing I had been trying not to say out loud. "You are either lying to me or someone has access to your number and knows how to destroy me." He sat down slowly and said, "Then we need to figure out which one it is." But by that point, I was too far gone to trust the calmness. It felt like performance. Everything felt like performance. Selena's gratitude. My family's pride in her. Evo's soft voice. All of it. I told him to leave for a few days. He didn't argue. He packed a bag and left that night. I think that was what scared me most. If he were guilty, why not fight harder? If he were innocent, why leave so easily? I couldn't make either version feel solid. Update 1. 4 days later. I finally told Selena I knew about the dinners and that I was hurt. She sent me a long voice note talking about logistics and limited seats, and how she thought I'd be too busy working to enjoy it anyway. Which, honestly, may be the most revealing sentence anyone has ever said to me. Too busy working to be included in the result of my own work. Then she added that I was being too emotional because I was tired and under pressure. That word, emotional, has been following me around like a mosquito lately. Everyone loves it when they want you to doubt yourself. I still haven't edited the last set of backstage images. I open the folder, stare at the files, and close it again. Update 2. 1 week later, Evo came back with actual information. Apparently his old phone really was still linked to his messaging account. And it wasn't just lost in some abstract way. It had last pinged from a building tied to a production vendor Selena's team used for the show. I don't know what to do with that yet. I'm not saying Selena is behind it. I'm not even saying someone from her team is. I'm saying the first time in this whole mess that something stopped feeling purely emotional and started feeling concrete. It pointed back toward the same orbit I've been killing myself to stay loyal to. Evo wants to go to the police. Part of me thinks that's smart. Part of me is so tired I can barely answer emails. So here's where I'm at. I don't know if my boyfriend is innocent. I don't know how much of my family has been using my loyalty as free labor. And I don't know whether the saddest part is the possibility that I was lied to, or the possibility that I was mostly right about all of it. What I do know is this: I am done shrinking my instincts just to keep other people comfortable. If I lose my relationship over the truth, then maybe it wasn't strong enough to survive reality. And if I lose family over boundaries, then maybe what I had wasn't family in the way I kept trying to believe it was. This concludes today's story. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to support our work.